Hi, welcome to my next SketchUp lesson at mrstewartslessons.com. Today we're going to make something new, not part of the practice house. We're going to make a component. We've already imported components like furniture and stuff. I'm going to show you how to make a component and how to make something kind of fancy, a fancy staircase. So what I'm going to do, first I'm going to delete the person, because we don't need them. So now what we need, we're going to start, to make the stair, what we want is we want a rectangle we're going to make a rectangle that is 9 feet 9 inches by 7.5 inches wide. So what we're going to do now, we're going to bring that over and we're going to turn it into a stair. So I'm going to use my push-pull tool and I'm going to pull it up 7.5 inches high. So this is my first stair. So I want you to do the same thing. Make a rectangle that's 9 feet 9 inches wide, 9 feet 9 inches long, 7.5 inches high, and then make that 7.5 inches tall. So what we want to do is we're going to make another stair that comes out at the top of it. There's different ways to do that, but we're going to want 12 of them, and it's going to be kind of hard to copy 12. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to select the entire stair, and we're going to use the Move Copy tool. So I'm going to click on the Move tool, and then I'm going to click on the corner down here, this end point. I'm going to click on it, I'm going to hold down the Control key, and I'm going to move it up so that that endpoint, that the lower left endpoint is on the upper right endpoint of the other side, like that. So I want you to do the same, and you notice how they're lined up just right on along the line here. So I want you to do the same thing. You're going to click the Move Copy tool, click down here, press the Control key, and move your copy up there. Now, I could do that 12 times, but I don't want to because that's a big nuisance. So I'm going to do it an easier way. I want to make, actually I want to do 11 times. I want to make 11 copies. So I'm going to use a new feature. I'm going to, and this works after you make a copy. What you can do, I'm going to press times an X, and then I'm going to put 11. This means make 11 copies of the same thing, and then I'll hit enter. And notice now that we have 12 stairs going up. So I want you to try the same thing. Just type X11 and watch your copies go all the way up. And so now we have 12 stairs going up. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I want to fill in this space down below here. So I'm going to get the pencil. I'm going to click down here. And then I'm going to move over this endpoint so it's lined up. You'll see I have the dotted line, and I'll move down until I'm on the green line from the point. Then I'll click there. It's using inference locking there. So I want you to do the same thing. So you're going to draw this line until it goes right under. You're going to inference lock it to this point up here. So I'll pause it and do that now. Okay. Now I'm going to draw another line straight up there. That's going to fill in this space here. Now I'm going to come around the other side. I want to do the same thing over here on the other side. So I'm going to get my pencil. I'm going to click on this endpoint, come over to this other one, make sure I'm locked to it, and there's my point. I'll click there, and then I'll draw another line up here, and it'll fill in that space. So I want you to do the same thing. Draw the line to under here, and then draw it up to this point there. And just to make sure, make our stairs complete, I'll come over here and I'll connect these two lines, and that's going to fill in the rest of the outside of the stairs. And this is our stairs now. So I want you to connect these two lines so your stairs are all the way filled in. Now you notice we have all these little lines coming up along here, which we don't really want anymore. The easiest way to get rid of them is I'll use my eraser. If I click on the corners, it'll get rid of each line, each pair of lines there. And I'll do the same thing over on the other side. And look how easily we've created 12 stairs. So I want you to erase all the lines on either side so that the stairs are all of one piece. Okay, now we're going to do something even fancier. What I'm going to do is first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make all these stairs into a single unit. Right now, if I select these stairs, I can only select individual parts. What I'd really like to do is make these stairs all of a piece. And that's how we're going to make them into what's called a component. So I'm going to highlight all the stairs by dragging over. And we can always do this, right? When I drag over, that highlights everything. So the whole thing is highlighted. And I'm going to do a new tool. I'm going to click Edit. I'm going to go down to where it says Make Component. And I'm going to call the component Stairs, 12 stairs. And I'll write a description. And the description will say 12 stairs, 9 feet 9 inches wide, and 7½ inch high. So we know a little bit about what it is. And I will click Create. Notice what happens. Notice now, if I click on the stairs, it only selects the whole thing. I can't. Now, later I'll show you how you can individually edit what's in the stairs, but what's nice is now if I want to do something with the stairs, I can just move them around. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create something. I'm going to create some banisters to go on the stairs. And to create the banisters, I'm going to create a separate little banister column. So I'm going to start off to the side of the stairs. So these stairs are 7½ inches deep, and so if I want to create a banister column, we're going to need them to be about 6 inches diameter to fit right. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to zoom in so I'm seeing, because I'm going to want to look real close up to what I'm doing. I'm not going to do this on the stairs. I'm going to come to my circle tool, and I'm going to pull out, and I'm going to give my circle a radius of 3 inches. So pause it and create a 3-inch circle. Okay, now, fairly easy to just pull that circle up and make a column, but we're going to do something a little bit fancier. So we're going to want these to be about, we're going to want these circles, these banisters to be about 3 feet high. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to create the bottom part of the banister. I'm going to pull this up 6 inches. So I want you to do the same thing. Create the bottom part. Pull it up 6 inches using your push-pull tool. You guys already know how to do that. Okay. So now I'm going to look even closer in on this. I want to get a really good view on this. So I'll drag this over, and I'll put it over here. And I'll put my rotate so I'm looking straight down on the circle. I'm going to zoom in real close. Now, actually, in SketchUp, it turns out that the circles aren't perfect circles. They're really just a bunch of individual lines. It's just a big polygon with a whole bunch of sides. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to create an arc inside these. What we want our column to have indents in it and to make it look nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my arc tool. And you'll notice that there's endpoints here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 24 little lines here. It's really a 24-sided figure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and I'm going to start my arc. So I start at one endpoint and I go to the other endpoint of the little line. Then I'll click here and I'm going to pull it out. I don't want it to be too deep, so I'm going to make it 1/2 inch deep. So I'll write 1/2 inches. Oh, that's still too much. Actually, I'll make it 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch deep. Very shallow arc going inside there. So I want you to draw an arc from here to here and then make it 1/4 inch deep. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to rotate this all around the side. And so we can use in addition to our move copy tool, we can do the same thing with the rotate tool. What I want to do first, I'm going to select the arc that I just created. Now I'm going to click on my rotate tool. This is why we need to be zoomed in real close. Now I'm going to want to find the center of the circle. Sometimes that's not so easy. And if you're having a hard time finding the center of the circle, what you can always do is you can use your, you can go to your, tape measure tool, and you can draw 2 diameters through the circle. Make sure you're going through all the way to the longest diameter, and then that cross point will take you to the circle. So now I'm at the center of the circle. So notice I still have the arc selected. It's important that I have the arc selected first. So I'm going to click on here, and then I'm going to click on the arc. And I'm going to hit the control key, and notice I'll rotate so that it is touching on the next part of the arc. Then I'll click here. Now, we want to do this all the way around. So we want to do this, I'm going to write X24. This is going to make 24 copies going all the way around. And you'll see now that our arcs go all the way, have 24 arcs going all the way around. So I want you to try to do the same thing. Find the center of the circle, then select the arc, use the rotate key and copy it one around, and then make 24 copies going all the way around the circle. Okay, so now I'm going to do my delete guides, because I don't need those anymore. Also don't need my rotate anymore. Now we're going to go back and we're going to do the push-pull again. So what we want to do, I'm going to rotate back up here, and we're going to do something really cool. I'm going to pull this up, and we're going to make this part go up 2 feet, and notice the cool indentations in our column that we've created, kind of an ionic column. So now what we have to do is make a part that goes up on here that's slanted, that's hold the railing. And so we need it to be basically a triangular prism. The easiest way to do this is we're going to start with our pencil. We'll draw separately. We want to draw along the green axis. You see when it says on the green axis, press the shift key, and we want to put 6 inches long, because this thing is 6 inches long here. Now we want to go up and we want to be on the blue axis. So we want to wait till it says we're on the blue axis, and then we want to also put 6 inches in distance. And then last of all, we're going to go back here. So now we have a triangle, a right triangle basically. And now we can pull it out and make it a prism by using our push-pull feature. And we'll pull this out 6 inches. And I'm going to put this up on top, so I will select the whole thing. I'll click on my move tool and I'll click on the endpoint. Always better to move things from the endpoint. I'm going to move this over so it's on top here. And I might have to move it around. Looks like I have to move it over a little bit this way because we want it to be right on top. So now it's right on top here. Now we have this thing, and then we have this thing selected already, and we want to add it to the component. So now what I can do is I can edit and I can make this component into another component. So I'll say column with support. So now what I need to do is I need to move this over by my actual stairs. Just next to it for now, just because we're going to put it on top of there. So now it's next to the actual stairs. And I can actually place it on one of the stairs. Now we want to make sure, we might want to move it carefully so it's not hanging off the top. So what I can do is if I have my move tool, I can move over here so I'm on the face in the component, and then hold down the shift key, and then I can move this around very carefully so it's exactly where I want it to be. Now what we're going to want is these going all the way up the stairs. So what I want to do is first of all, I want to make sure I put it in the right place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a line that goes all the way up the stairs. So I want to be able to see the whole thing. And I'm going to use my tape measure tool. I'll start down here in an endpoint in the component, like in the midpoint. I'm going to draw a line straight up here, and I want it to go straight up to the top along the stairs. And I'm going to look around the right, great, and that's exactly what I want it to go. I want it to go along straight. This may not work perfectly at first, but that's okay. So now what I can do, I'm going to copy this. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I want 11 copies, and I want them going all the way up to the top here. And so what I can do, I'm going to use my Move Copy tool. We're going to do something a little bit differently. I'm going to start with the endpoint that I had the line coming out of, which is this one right here. And then start with that endpoint. There we go. Now I'm going to hold down my control key, so I'm making, I don't even need to hold it down. I just press it once and I go to the guide point. So I go up to the top. Now we want to make 11 copies going all the way along these stairs. What I did here is I went from the bottom all the way up to the top. And so we're not going to use the X11 because X11 would make 11 going all the way up into space. What we want is 11 copies in between. So I'm going to use the slash key instead. The slash key meaning the one just to the left of the shift. I'll press slash 11 and then I'll hit enter. And what you have is 11 copies of the stairs going up this component. And now what you have 11 copies of the banister going up into this component. So what I want you to do, move your banister over, put it on the stairs, and then make 11 copies going up the stairs. Okay? And now what we're going to want to do, we're going to have a railing coming all the way up here. So let's make a railing here real quick. The way I'm going to make this railing, what I'm going to make is a rectangle coming out of the top here. It can be kind of hard to make the rectangle without putting it on the face, so I'm going to come around the side. I'll use my pencil and I'm going to go to where it's on the blue axis. So when I get on the blue axis, I'll hit the shift key and then I'll press 2 inches. I want it 2 inches high. Now I'm going to want to come around here and I'm going to make this go along the red axis until it's right above this point. From point, and then I'll draw another one down here, and then I'll draw a line back here so I have a rectangle right there. Okay, so pause it and draw your rectangle right there. Okay, now what I'll do is I want this to go all the way up here. So I need to make, but first let's make it a little bit nicer. Let's make some arcs coming off the side so this has a rounded edge. So I'll do my arc tool. I'll draw from the top to the bottom and then I'll come out here. Let's make it a 1-inch bulge here. Then I'm going to do the same thing over on the other side. It can be kind of hard to do this, so I might do it easier from the other direction so it doesn't try and put it over something here. I'll put a 1-inch bulge coming out this way. We want to make sure it's coming out along the red axis. Good. Now we want to erase these two lines. So draw your bulge coming out this side 1 inch along the red axis and erase the two lines. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw, I want a line for it to follow going all the way up this way. So what I'll do, I'm going to draw a line going all the way up the side here, and that's easy enough to do if I just start down here and go along these endpoints here. Now I've got a line, so I want you to start here, draw a line to the endpoint up here. Now we'll use our old friend, the Follow Me tool. So I will select the line that we just drew, and I'm going to click on the Follow Me tool, and there's our banister going all the way up. So I want you to use your Follow Me tool and create your banister going all the way up. Now what we're going to do, we're going to want to put all this stuff over to the other side. And the easiest way to do it is to make this whole large banister into a component. To turn the banister into a component, what I can do is I can drag this over so that everything is included in the rectangle, But notice how the end of the stairs is sticking out, so it's not in the rectangle. This means I'm going to select all my columns and my banister, but what I'm not going to do is select the actual component that I've already created. But if I did, it would be easy enough to do. I could just shift and unselect it. So right now I have my all these selected. I'm going to do edit, make component, and I'll call it banister. So you know it's a component when you get this whole rectangular prism around it. So now I can just bring over my whole banister. I have it selected. I will select a corner here, and it says endpoint and component, so I'm going to select that. I'm going to start to drag it over. I'll press the control key, which will make a copy. I'll bring it over. I want to be on the line here, a little bit further over. Can move a little, it can lag a little when you're moving a whole component because it's a fairly large memory intensive thing. And now I have banisters going up both sides of the stairs. And so now I want to make the stairs into one large component. So I'm going to use my select tool, and I'll make sure the stairs are selected too, so everything is all together. And I'm going to do edit, make component, and I'll call it stairs. And now we have one big component here. Now, one thing you might be wondering is, what if I want to work on something inside of it? There's two ways I can do that. If I want to, right now I can only select the entire thing. But if I want to work on something inside of it, I can double click on a particular place and it'll allow me to work in that particular thing. Another thing I can do, if I have my component selected and I want to work on it, I can go to click edit, go to component, and you see where it says solid component in one model, and if I go to explode, it won't make it blow up. It'll make it come apart into all its different pieces again. So that's something else we can do. But I'll undo that because I want everything to come together right now. And so here's my large component of my stairs and the banister. And now I can very easily move that and put that in anything else that I want to work with. And I can do everything that I could normally do with the component. I could rotate it just as you did with the furniture. So if I look around, say, the top, maybe my stairs are facing the wrong direction. I can use my rotation tool and turn it. I could use the scale tool and shrink it or grow it. And I can put it in. To put it in another thing, what I can do is I can go to Edit, Component and Model, and I'll go to Save As, and notice it comes, the file name comes up of whatever it was already called, Stairs with Banister, and it's called a Sketchup model. So I'm going to put it wherever I want to keep it, and I'll save the Stairs with the Banister. And if I open a new file, I can import it into the new file, which I'll show you next week next lesson when we start working on our brownstone.